I don't believe there's such a thing as losers, and I don't believe there's such a thing as winners. There's only how we behave.
You know, I could very easily make a Northwestern joke right here, right? You realize this? You just left yourself so wide open. Like, okay,
that's that's how I learned that there's no such thing as winners, because I went to Northwestern University.
Given the time that we are in right now, every day, and I imagine you feel this as well as somebody who is in the profession you are in and who has delivers, the news and information and entertainment to people. You wake up days and you're like, the stupid people have won. This is over. Like they've won. I don't like I got nothing. I mean, where's the hope? Where's the optimism? Where's all this coming from? We have racism and bad government and a pandemic all mixed together. And I'm like, I tap out, guys. So for you, who nightly you have these, criticisms and observations and critiques of what our society is going through, how do you maintain your sense of optimism still?
My sense of optimism, I suppose, is fed by my low expectations for human behavior. And that might seem antithetical or oxymoronic, but what I mean is humans have always acted toward each other in ways that are motivated by base instincts. Not all humans, not all the time, but there have always been times when we act toward each other with base instincts, which I mean is fear, responding to fear, responding with anger, defensiveness. That's why messages of love are so welcome, because we need it like water as we go through the desert of how humans can often revert to a fearful, angry response toward each other. The stupid doesn't bother me as much as the fear and the anger in response to the ignorance. I'm dumb. I know there's so many things that I don't know. Matter of fact, when I went to go see in and of itself, you're asked to choose an identity. I picked a card off the wall, and my card said, "I am an idiot." That's my choice. And what I mean by that is that, like, to be able to sort of humbly say, like, hey, there's so much stuff I don't know, and that's okay. And not to be threatened by the idea that I don't know it, to just accept that I don't know, and to have some hopefully humble response to learning more by first acknowledging that I don't know. So so dumb's okay with me. It's when you don't want to get better and you protect your willful ignorance that maintains your status, maintains your privilege, and you start making shit up in order to protect that position. And that's what truthiness was about, which I talked about for years on the old show. Truthiness is a willful sense of ignorance to protect your own position, because your emotional truth is more important to you than any reality or facts that could be expressed, because it allows you to win. The idea of winning bothers me. I don't like winners. I don't believe there's such a thing as losers, and I don't believe there's such a thing as winners. There's only how we behave.
You know, I could very easily make a Northwestern joke right here, right? You realize this? You just left yourself so wide open. Like, okay.
That's how I learned that there's no such thing as winners, because I went to Northwestern University. And I should know better that there's no such thing as losers, because I certainly lived it. Yeah, especially back then. They've gotten better since the 80s.
They have.
And the other thing is, because I get to do it with comedy, and I get to my Rolodex, my phone book that I have in my phone is filled with the funniest people I know, and I get to spend every morning with a group of younger than I am funny people who are hopeful that the world is improvable. That I get my energy from them. That pitch meeting in the morning is my favorite part of the day. What hopeful view do these young people about, like, what the world could be? Even finding fault in the world implies that you think there's a way it could be better. It's not despair. Being upset's not the same thing as despair. And I have to link everything back to Lord of the Rings at all times. And Gandalf says that despair is only for those who can see all ends. and even the wise doesn't know what's going to come. And the same thing. So I think really being despairing about the state of our nation or our relationships has got some hubris in it, because you think you know how this is going to turn out. And past performance is indicative of future results. I will grant you that. But as long as there's an opportunity as an individual to love other people, I think there's a chance for everybody to get better.
You talked about how your morning meeting, like that's really an energy boost for you, but I know the audience is too. So for you, what was this pandemic like as a performer, and not having that audience energy that you're used to? What did that feel like for you as somebody who thrives off that?
Oh, it was bad. It was bad. I mean, there's the ordinary worry that you just have as a human being about what's happening, with this pandemic, and is your family safe, and are your loved ones safe, and your staff, and what'll this mean economically for our nation? What does it mean socially? What does it mean to really like the direction of our culture? But as a performer, from a selfish point of view, I took this job because I really like a live audience, and this job had things that I like. I get to work with the people that I've worked with for years and grown to love and trust. I get to do it in front of a live audience because I really don't like single camera with no audience there and guessing if things are working. I like that sound the audience makes. They make the sound with their mouth, and you go, "Oh, that joke worked. They made that sound," and that sound is like an energy boost. If you have a good audience, you walk on stage. You walk off stage with more energy. Wherever you walk on, you come off feeling better. And with no audience, it's all just draining the tank. All you do is drain the tank every night. There's no recharging. And so we've done it about a year. I'm about done. I'm ready. I've wanted the audience from day one, but I think I've run out of my ability to imagine how this might play. I run out of my ability to imagine how much I would have enjoyed to be in the room with my staff, my writers, and my producers, and my graphic people, my research people today. And as somebody, it's, you're like a musician. You've spent your whole career learning how to play a violin, and somebody goes, "Go out there and play the violin." Where's the violin? Oh, you can't have the violin. You have to play it without touching it. That's what it's like to not have an audience. It's like you don't get to have your instrument, because the job is really about your relationship with them. What you're saying in a way is immaterial. It's your relationship with the audience, that community that you're creating. And it's at first 2 weeks, I'm like, I can't possibly do it. And God bless my wife, Evie. She just looked at me and she goes, "You'll figure it out," and walked out of the room, which was the best possible thing to say. She didn't pet me. She didn't say, "Oh, you'll figure it out." And she was right. We figured it out.
Yeah. But during that time, even though you missed your instrument, what would you say that you got better at as a host during the pandemic?
Interviewing people. I got better at just having a conversation, because there's no other choice. And we actually started interviewing people without actually doing an intro. I would just welcome them over Zoom and just start talking and do the intro later, because I wanted to start with that thin edge of the wedge. You know what I mean? I wanted to ramp up in a human way, because what I found was that you would say hi to someone and go, "Okay, the interview's about to start," and then a totally different person would show up seconds later when you started the interview. But now, and it's informed me about the way I approach a guest now, just to start off in some ways gently and humanly and with no pressure of performance. Of course, it helps that there is no performance to be done. The audience isn't observing us, and so observation changes the observed, I think, is part of the uncertainty principle. And that human being who is the actor or the writer or the politician on Zoom can maintain that humanity that then is very intimate for the audience at home, because it was an intimate conversation between the two of us. I don't know how to do that when we get back, but I know I will. I know that is the most valuable thing that I have gained from it. That, and all the time I've spent with my family, because my family were my crew. And Evie is my only audience. When she's there, she is like an audience. She's the person I've always wanted to make laugh. And so actually mixing those two worlds, having not quite such a bright line between the life I love and the thing I love has been really wonderful.
Is your crew union or you?
My crew is though. Actually, I think we literally got a union.
I meant your family. Like,
my family. I think some of them are. No,
Yeah.
but I mean, what I mean is like, I think Evie is union, but that was not, that's a real consideration when we started. It's like, I can't let anybody into my house. And so we got a waiver. For just when I was shooting in my bedroom.
Well, do you have a best guess for when you feel like you all might be? I know fully operational is probably a bit of a pie in the sky, but when you think you'll be back?
We talk about it all the time. We didn't start talking about it until about a month ago. We were like, let's just leave that down the road. But about a month ago, when it looked like the rollout of the vaccine was actually happening at a faster pace even than had been anticipated, we started talking to some public health people, and because we thought, I don't know, sometime next fall, maybe we could get back in. And now we're hopeful that it's going to be before that. But I mean, I don't think Dr. Fauci could tell you when the exact right time will be. I know that we're going to put everything in place between now and summer. So, part of our staff meeting this morning was, okay, if we went back, who would that be at first? Who would be essential right at first? Or what would be the processes by which we would keep each other safe? And we haven't even dealt with that before because we thought, well, that's so far down the line. Now it's immediate enough that we know that between now and Memorial Day, we have to have not just a plan in place, but all the processes in place to make that happen. So listen, if it happens this summer, I'd be thrilled. I just don't want to get my own hopes up. So I don't know if it happened before Labor Day, I wouldn't be shocked, but it all comes down to, especially as we're part of a huge corporation now, what does there's a task force at Viacom CBS that approves everything. So even if it was safe to do it, say the day after Memorial Day, I don't think we'd be in there because there's just, as well there should be, there's a long process to go through to get everything approved. So There's a real long answer that didn't tell you much other than the fact that I'd like it to be tomorrow. I wouldn't be shocked if it was July.